Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I know it's been a while, so apologies for that. We're going to be talking today about Britstops. What's new for Britstops in 2024? I'm going to show you a bit about how to use it and what to do with it. So let's roll the intro and get on with the video. So what is Britstops? So Britstops is a subscription service. It's UK based. There's a network of pubs, farm shops, etc. and places for you to stop overnight for free all around the country. So what I'm going to do is pop the browser up. I'll show you how it works. So using Britstops is dead easy. So you can see we're at the website britstops.com. You create an account, make your subscription, and then you can start searching for places for you to stop over for free all around the country. So it's far easier to show you how it actually works rather than me explaining it. So let's just do that. So we're on the start the search, and we're going to search in London and see what's around. Then you can see it loads the map up there for you. You can scroll in and out, and let's just pick an area around Luton. So you can see there's a key here on the map with all sorts of different things. If we click on one of these areas, it gives you the name of the stopover, Old Red Lion in Dunstable, and some details about the place. And you've got an option there to plan a route or to favourite it. But let's just open it up. And then you get to the actual page of the stopover itself. Now this is important because this will give you all the details you need about the place. They add pictures, and the key details are here. It tells you a little bit about the pub itself, tells you what it does, if it serves food or not, about pets, tells you what other things it's got happening on site, locations and directions, and there, if it has any reviews, they'll be down the bottom. You can also get the contact number up here and the website from here as well, and by clicking the heart button you can then save that to your collection of saved stopovers. Now the important thing here, it's got a code, tells you how many spaces they've got, and advance notice required. I'll go on to this in tips in a bit, but it does tell you whether or not you need to call in advance to do that. So let's try somewhere else. Let's go to Wales. Let's look in Wales and see what's around. As you can see, as I'm moving the map around, there's quite a few. So we'll go into the Cardiff area and select one. Now this is the blue one, which is different on the map. So we'll just look at that one. That's a brewery, so that's like a business stopover. Probably not as popular. Most of the popular ones are the pub ones. So let's click the bell in as well. And as before, you've got some photos of the establishment itself, any reviews, gives you the code, parking space of 1, and advance notice required there. It's important you read the about as well, because it does give you a bit more detail about the car parks and the size of the van that's allowed. Some of them will state the size of the van maximum in the listing as you hover over them in the map. But it's also it tells you what other features they got there. So you've got water, Wi-Fi, there's a restaurant and a link, and obviously the directions the same as before. And parking surface is important as well to note. If you've got a large van or something and you don't want to be on soft ground, then make sure you make a note of that. So really it's very simple to find places to stop over for free, and you just got to pay the subscription. So zoomed out on the map there, you can see there are plenty of stopovers available of all different types, predominantly pubs, which isn't a bad thing. So you've got quite a wide selection of choice there, depending on where you're going. Now, there are a few things that I've discovered in using it myself. I've been a member for almost 2 years. Like I said, recently they've gone away from the old book style to the web's version that you can see in front of you, and the app is pretty much exactly the same. They had a lot of bit pushback at the start because people liked having the book, and you didn't have to have internet access to do it. But for me, this works way better. They did have an old app, but it wasn't very good at all. The subscription, I think, held about the same for existing customers. I believe it's about £44 a year for the subscription. But there's a couple of things I would say, having used it a few times, which would actually be useful. And one of those, so like I said, I've been using this for quite a while, 18 months, almost 2 years, and used it on several different occasions for several reasons, which I can go into in a minute, just to give you an idea of use case. A couple of tips, though, I would say when using this, I've never had any trouble. It's always been great. What I would do is, regardless of whether it says in the bottom there to give advance notice if it's required or not, I always call ahead. And that's just to make sure there's nothing strange happening, like they've, I don't know, maybe they've got building work happening and it's not available at that time, or they've had more people come in and used up all their spaces. This pub in particular has only got one space. So regardless of whether it says give advance notice or not, I always call in just to make sure that it's going to be free. I've never had a problem. It's always been fine, and all the staff have always been lovely. But I think it's worth doing that regardless of what that says. The second one would be, and we'll use this example I've got selected here in Newport, the Bell Inn, as an example. Now, depending on your van or whatever you're kind of staying in, it's worth, once you've found the area that you want, is actually to pull it up on Street View and just take a look at the car park. Now, obviously, I don't know, there might be an perhaps additional car park around the back. That looks like that could be a possibility. I don't think we're going to be able to kind of see that, but that's not guaranteed. So the only car park I can see is this one, and you can see there's only a few spaces there. My concern, if it was me going to stay, my concern here is that you're right on the road. Now, it doesn't look like it'll be a busy road at night, but nevertheless, you'll be sleeping perhaps 12 feet away from the actual road, which may not be ideal depending on what you think about that. But that's something I also always do. So just find the actual stopover on Street View and just take a look at the car park, because you could have a similar one to this, but it might be a higher traffic area, so you might expect people perhaps to be walking past late at night, which is not ideal. So that's the way I do it, and I find that works best for me. So, I mean, what am I using this for, and what do I get for my £44 a year that I pay for? Well, I think I mentioned it in one of my other videos, perhaps my campervan heating video. There's a couple of reasons I subscribed in the first place. One was to, just generally explore, so days out or things like that. So you're going to kind of extend your range. So let's say you want to go out for the day somewhere, perhaps a bit further than you'd normally drive in a day. You can then stop over, have a nice meal, have a drink if that's your thing, and then move on the next day. So that's a clear and obvious use case for it. The main reason, though, that I subscribed and have used it before is to break up long journeys, especially at the beginning of a break. So let's say you're due to go on holiday on the Saturday and you're crossing the Eurotunnel on the Saturday, for example. I live in Cornwall, so that's quite away from the Eurotunnel, the Eurostar port, or the Eurotunnel port, should I say. It depends where you are, but it's very useful for me to be able to drive perhaps the Friday evening, find somewhere to stop nearby or as near as I want to, be refreshed and ready for the next day, especially if there's a lot more driving to be done the following day in Europe. Let's say you have to drive through France, or you're going to the southeast of France or something like that. There's going to be 7-8 hours on the road in France. It doesn't cost you any extra money, and usually that time is pretty much free as well. Let's say you can leave early evening on a Friday, let's say, drive most of the way there, find a stopover, stay there, and then get up in the morning sort of refreshed and ready to go. That's the other thing too. And that's really the main reason I used it. But you can, planning it out, you can plan yourself a little break. Back in the summer, myself and my wife went away for a week, 10 days around the sort of New Forest area and stopped at various different campsites and things like that. Well, actually, if you're stopping in places for a couple of days, I mean, it's important to say that these things are usually overnights only, and you can't get out awnings and do stuff like that. It's literally a park up for the night, which is fine. But if you're stopping for just say a day somewhere whilst you're out and about on a holiday, this is a good option because you know you've got a base. It's not going to cost you any extra money, and then perhaps if you're based somewhere else on a like a fixed campsite for 2 or 3 days, it actually might make that holiday a little bit cheaper for you, so you can save a little bit of money there. So there we are. That's Britstops for you. That's the latest updates from it. I find it particularly useful. I already earned the money or saved the money back, if you like, from the subscription by just the 2 or 3 stopovers I've already done in the last 6 months or so. So for me, it makes great sense. It's really good value, and now I think it's better and easier to use than it's ever been. So you can see the site up there. Go and check it out if you want to. I want to just say thanks for watching the video. If you've got it all the way to the end, if you'd like the video and subscribe, I'd be grateful. And any questions, please leave them below in the comments. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.